investigator in charge and will be traveling today with the rest of the GO team. We have a investigator for human performance, an investigator for vehicle factors, an investigator for motor carrier operations, an investigator for survival factors, a reconstruction expert, and a project manager, as well as other support folks. It's for a team of 12. This information is preliminary right now, and obviously we're going to wait until our investigators are on the ground to verify some of these facts and provide more information. Keith Holloway is the public affairs officer who's traveling with the team, and he'll be in Texas. They are traveling now. They left approximately around 2 p.m. And they will hopefully have a press briefing tomorrow. But this is the information we have right now. Like I said, it's all preliminary, and we are working very, very closely with the Texas Department of Public Safety. We've worked with this crew before, and we're very, very confident that we'll be able to work together. So our thanks to the Texas DPS. With that, I can take a few questions. I don't have a lot of details, but if you could just identify who you are and what outlet you're with before asking the question. Do you have any questions at this time?
Yes, Rebecca Valdez from KOB4 in Albuquerque. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Wonderful. I didn't know if we could get an update or if you had any information based on speed or any type of reckless driving that may have been involved, and also if there is any type of update on the remaining two passengers that are now in the hospital. Thank you.
Well, thank you. First off, the conditions and of those injured in this crash, that will be released by local officials. We do not describe injuries or the extent thereof. Generally, it's done by local officials. And what was the first part of your question, please?
The first part of the question would be, has there been any determination on whether or not there was any type of speed, alcohol, or any type of reckless driving that may have been involved in this crash? And then just the follow-up, maybe, how long do you expect this investigation to take?
Okay. First off, on terms of the speed of the vehicles, all we have, the information we have is that it was a 75-mile-an-hour speed limit. So that's the information we have on speed. We don't have the exact speed of the vehicles. Hopefully our investigators will try to determine that. In terms of the time, we hope to have a preliminary report, which will just contain the facts of the gathered up to that point in about 2 weeks to a month. The entire investigation could take anywhere from 18 to 24 months to complete. And, you know, it's not only looking at what happened, but why it happened and ways that can prevent it from happening in the future.
Eric, it's Amanda from ABC News. Can you hear me?
Hi, Amanda. Yes.
I was just wondering, can you kind of talk about what investigators are going to be looking at in this investigation and kind of elaborate more on that? Thank you so much.
Sure. Hold on. Just count this off. They're going to be looking at we believe there was a post-crash fire. We're looking at speed, occupant protection, and vehicle factors. We're looking Yes.
Sorry, were you finished or?
Yes.
Okay. This is Ashley Killow with CNN. I had 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier in the press conference, you mentioned you were sending a team of about 11 members, and then later you said a team of 12. So I just wanted to get clarification on that.
Yeah, we don't have an exact number yet, because what we do is we flow folks to the accident and the crash, and then we right size the team as we need the different different specialties, but I thought I counted 12.
Okay. And then in terms of the fatalities, I know it's very early, but do you have any sense of whether we know if they died on impact, or is there a possibility they died in this post-crash fire that you mentioned?
We believe it was a high energy event, but the investigators will determine what happened in that specific case.
Okay, and just to confirm that when first responders arrived on the scene, the fatalities that have been reported, were they already passed away when they arrived at the scene?
I don't have that information. That's something our investigators will determine on the ground.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Rebecca Valdez again from KOB, sorry. Can you tell me just two quick questions? One, why the NTSB is involved in this investigation? And then also, has the NTSB ever been involved in any type of crash investigation along this type of stretch of highway in this area before?
We investigated a crash in Big Spring, Texas recently. I don't have the details on that, but I could get you some information on Big Springs, Texas crash. But the NTSB, we look at every civil aviation accident in the country, as well as significant crashes and accidents in other modes of transportation, such as marine, pipeline, railroad, and highway.
This is,
And
I'm sorry, this is Chris McKee over at KRQE News 13. Real quick, I just wanted to, if you could reiterate the two vehicles that were involved in this crash one more time. Thank you.
Sure. It was a 2007 Dodge 2500 pickup truck. And it was a Ford Transit van towing a 2019 Salvation 8-foot box trailer. And the Ford Transit van was a 2017.
hi, this is Ashley again with CNN. Just one last question. Do we know if the crash scene has already been cleared? And if so, does that pose any challenges to the investigation?
Well, we will try to reconstruct the scene using possibly using similar type vehicles, but we understand that generally in these cases, there's photographic evidence, there are measurements, and we'll have that to sort of recreate the accident scene. But I don't believe the vehicles are on scene at this moment.
This is Chris McKee again here at KRQE News in Albuquerque. And I apologize if you sort of covered this, but just to ask very clearly, is there any idea of if a vehicle was traveling the wrong way at this point?
I do not have that information. That's something they're going to look at all the options and all the scenarios in that possible scenarios in that situation. So they will determine whether anything like that happened. That would be up to investigators on the scene. Any other questions?
Hi, sorry, it's Ashley one more time with CNN. But are you able to give us any sense of what the vehicles looked like afterward? Like, were they completely, I'm assuming they were completely destroyed given the fire, but do we have any sense of whether they were rolled off the road after the collision, or just any kind of visuals would be helpful?
Yeah, we will have, we will determine exactly the sequence of events in the accident, in the crash, but we don't have, we know it was a high energy collision, but I don't have any personal understanding of exactly what happened post collision. But we will have that. We will determine that information. Okay. Well, thank you very much. And like I said, Keith Holloway will be the public affairs officer on scene, and he's traveling with a team. His email is keith.holloway, HOLLOWAY, at ntsb.gov. And he should be arriving there this evening, and they should have some sort of press availability tomorrow. Vice Chairman Bruce Landsberg is going to be the board member on scene for this crash. Thank you very much, and feel free to reach out to me or Keith with any questions you may have on this as the investigation goes forward. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.